Welcome into the CHGO Bears pregame show. We got a full panel ready to go. Huge game tonight. Bears and Texans. We got Nicholas Moreano in Houston. He will join us in a little bit. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Corey Wootton, Greg Braggs Jr., who has been voted off of Meatball Island. I am now the mayor.
He's back.
Yeah. Well, I'm voted off because I picked him to lose. Now Hoge is the mayor of Meatball
It's
Island.
an island of one. It is. And
we are rooting for you, Adam. We are rooting for you.
Good. Yeah.
You are literally on the island. Nobody's picked the Bears to beat the Texans tonight except for you.
Well, the first legislation that was done on the new island was we renamed it Hoge Island. It is no longer Meatball Island.
Well, and I've always
like
looked
that.
up to you and the way that you can see football and the way you think outside the box. And I can't wait to hear later in this program your vision of how the Bears will win this football game tonight. By the way, they are betting the line down. So money coming in on the beloved, damn it.
Yeah, because of my prediction.
Maybe
Only because of my prediction. Okay. I have that power to move Vegas completely. All right. One item, a business item right off the top before we get into what matters most. A week from today, we are going to be at Joe's on Weed Street. We are going to have a massive party there. If you are at the first night of our draft party, it's going to be like that. And if you are there, you know that this is a must-attend event at Joe's. We're going to be in the big room. Right, Braggs? We're in the big room?
We're in the big room.
We're in the big room. That's where we were the first night of the draft. It was packed.
Yep.
Those viral videos of everyone going crazy. Imagine that for every touchdown the Bears score on the Indianapolis Colts, who, by the way, apparently suck.
They were horrible. Horrible.
I mean, we don't even need to talk about next week's already locked in as a W.
But it does also have to do with this week, right? Yeah. Because the Texans played the Colts last week and gave up 27 points to the Colts, who couldn't get into the end zone until the last 30 seconds of the game.
A lot of good transitive properties.
Look at the big brain on Braggs.
Yes.
Cheers.
I don't know what that was.
Cheers.
$10 general admission to get in next week, and the drink package, all you can drink, is $65.
Ooh, that's a steal of a deal right there.
Think about we're going to be there pre, post, during the whole game. That's a long time. You're going to be hanging out with us at Joe's. That you can cover that easily. So go check that out on our events page, allchgo.com/events. All right, Carm.
Yeah, it is that time, Adam Hoge. We are under an hour to kick off, 57 minutes. The way we start off our pregame shows, the CHGO Bears pregame show, is what matters most. What matters most, Adam Hoge?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the offensive line today because I think across the board, what matters most, what affects the quarterback. And if everything we said in the offseason, and really everyone said about how great of a situation this is for Caleb Williams, he needs protection up front. You cannot have pressure coming through the A-gap constantly in the NFL and expect to develop as a quarterback. So inside, they got to get that figured out. They got to get that figured out quickly. And we learned yesterday, Ryan Bates going on injured reserve, obviously hit a setback this week. All of a sudden went from a shoulder injury to shoulder and elbow. And he went from practicing on Wednesday to on IR. So obviously something happened in practice this week. It's the Nate Davis show at right guard. That can be a scary thought sometimes. And Coleman Shelton needs to prove himself inside. Now, that's just the interior of the O-line. By the way, Tevin Jenkins needs to play a lot better than he did last week. But in this game, the pressure is going to come from the outside because you got two absolute dogs for the Houston Texans outside. Danielle Hunter has been a Bears killer for a long, long time. Obviously, Will Anderson is in his second year and a dominant player in his own right. And so where we thought the tackles played pretty well last week for the Bears, yes, but they're going to be tested a lot more tonight. So across the board from left to right, what matters most tonight to get this victory and to help Caleb Williams is the offensive line.
I think that's a hard point to argue with, but there are things that matter as well. Which way are you going to go on this one?
So I'm going to go with the defensive line. I think it starts in the trenches. They got a talented left tackle in Laramie Tunsil. And this week, how is Taylor going to be as productive, right? He's mostly going to be lined up against him. How is he going to line up? How is he going to make an impact like he did last week? Jervon Dexter as well really flashed in that game. He had some really good rushes. He had a sack in there. The one where Jalen Johnson had the interception, he had a great move there. Kind of reminded me a lot of Tommy Harris, right? The jab ole, arm over, hit the quarterback, caused that pick. And Austin Booker, right? Is he going to be able to step up, right? What we saw in the run game wasn't really much, but in the pass game, Kenny, right? And then Montez Sweat, right? How is he going to show up today? I thought he was a little banged up last week. We didn't see the Montez Sweat that we saw last year. How is he going to make an impact out there? But I think this game, right, if Hoge picks it correctly, this is one in the trenches this week.
Before we get to Braggs' outstanding thought on what matters most tonight, and then, of course, my brilliance, Crystal is giving us $50 to start the show right now.
Let's go.
Which is huge, and she's joining you, Hoge. Hey, guys, I am with Hoge on Hoge Island. Bears win 28-23. This will be a game that we look back on and talk about. Love you guys and keep up the great work. Bear down. Also, if you don't want to sit by yourself next week, I have one spot at my table. Let me know. Wow, that's a throw out to everybody else coming out to Joe's on Weed Streets. Crystal's got an open seat. She might be talking to you, Herb Howard, if you're watching. Braggs, what matters most tonight?
Well, Crystal is what matters most. Shout out to you, Crystal. We appreciate your support, undying support here as CHGO Bears, CHGO Sports. But I don't know. For me, what matters most is that the Bears make this a game. You know, the last few years on primetime haven't always been the prettiest, and sometimes a night like this can set up for embarrassment. And after last week, you know, I couldn't go where Hoge went and pick them to win because the offense looks so...
Spoiler alert.
Right. Well, you spoiler alert. You picked them to win to start the game. What are we talking about here? Anyway.
You're on an island.
Yeah. Shut up. So, my whole thing is, as behind as the offense looks at this point and how much more room for growth they have, it's too far of a bridge to come over that I'll pick them to win. But my expectation is that they'll play much better offensively than they did last week, and I just want them to make it a game. Let CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams trade some punches, and if at the end of the day they end up losing, so be it. But they have to be able to take another step offensively, and in doing that, that gives the defense an opportunity to compete as well, because they're not going to be able to hold on for dear life for 4 quarters if the offense is 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. They saved the special teams and defense saved the day last week, but the offense has to do their part for this to be a game tonight. So that is what matters most to me. Make this a game on primetime and show that you guys are ready to get into the middle of the season at some point and really do some damage.
So for my own what matters most, his name is Shane. Not the Shane that we're going to beat tomorrow night as we win this championship again on the softball field. Not that Shane. But the Shane Waldron needs to have a big come up from last week to this week. You know, everybody was scratching their head at the personnel groupings, and it is time to not be fancy, but to put the ball on the ground. Control clock. Use your talent. Let offensive linemen get comfortable grinding it out. So how much did Shane learn from week 1 to week 2? He certainly allowed, you know, a runway here, taking on a whole new offense, different personnel, all of that. But to me, what matters most is how much the Bears have picked up from week 1, the offense looking horrible, to how they're going to call the activity tonight.
Let's take a look at the inactives that are in now, and a little bit of news. I kind of expected this. Obviously, let's start with the injury. So Rome Odunze is active. Keenan Allen inactive. As I've said the other day on the show, I am way more worried about the Keenan Allen injury than I am the Rome Odunze injury. We'll see how effective Rome is. We're going to hear from Rome a little bit later on in the show, what he had to say Friday. Hopefully we'll give Bears fans a little bit more confidence about how he's feeling tonight, but that's going to be a pain management situation. So Keenan Allen is inactive with that heel. That's concerning going forward, especially at his age. But Velus Jones is inactive after last week's blunder. not enough to keep him, involved in the offense. So it's going to be more of a straight, normal running back situation tonight for the Bears. Don't sleep on the fact, though, the Kari Blasingame is inactive. Now, that was – I kind of hinted a little bit later on in the week that we might have to start having that conversation about – remember, Shane Waldron hasn't used a fullback a ton in the past. I don't think he put Kari Blasingame in some advantageous positions last week. Mm-hmm. So I was already wondering if this was going to become a thing, but then he ended up being ruled out on Friday because of injury. So they're going no fullback tonight, no Velus tonight. Corey, how do you think that will necessarily affect what we see in the running game with this rotation of running backs?
I hope we see more Mercedes Lewis, because playing against him in the league, I think he's arguably one of the best blocking tight ends to ever play the game. So I'm hoping we see more of him tonight. Hopefully we see some of those 2 tight end sets. That's what Waldron's known for.
Let's get some 12, baby.
And I think especially with the strength of their defense, you look at Daniel Hunter, Will Anderson, right? Those 2 tight end sets, what it has them take a wider rush. It buys the O-line a second. So I'm hoping we see more of that. And why not keep Mercedes Lewis in as basically an extra offensive lineman, especially the Daniel Hunter side, to really give that offensive line help, because I think that's where they can beat you. They got, Derek Barnett coming off the bench as well. And just like Carm said, I think it comes down to running the football. And it's not just the outside, the tosses, the bounces, in between the tackles. And it always doesn't work right away. It's a concerted effort over the game. It's a war of attrition. You wear them down. And I think in a game like this, if the Bears are going to win, it's going to have to be with the running game to be able to open up that passing game with Caleb Williams. Because you look at their strength, that place is going to be rocking with the silent count. And if you could run the football, you can keep them off balance defensively.
The New Orleans Saints today beat the Cowboys 44-19. Mm-hmm. My guy, Derek Carr, the great Derek Carr that everyone screamed at me on the show. You know how many times he threw it? He threw it 16 times. People,
it's a run stats.
Yeah. 39 times the Saints
how many yards?
Put it on the ground. 190. It's 5 a shot. A huge day for Alvin Kamara with getting in the end zone 3 times. But, if you start to look around,
there's a few games like that today.
Yes.
The Packers had 20 carries in the first half against the Colts for 164 yards.
And if you watched it, 1st and 10, pick up 6, holding, move it back, run it again.
Yeah.
They didn't veer from it.
And the lead here is you watch way more football today than I thought.
This is where this kind of goes to this conversation that I was hoping to have tonight. And so that's what I want to add. I want you guys to ask Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus at some point, because what you just said, setting up the quarterback by running the football. When Nick Saban came in Hard Knocks, this was the question that I wanted to ask Waldron and Eberflus. How do you go about developing a quarterback but also trying to win games? Because Nick Saban said, hey, you got to throw 30 interceptions sometimes and, make mistakes. But they're not going to do that. They're going to call games to try to win. So I think they don't really work hand in hand. Russell Wilson, to your point, in his rookie year, they ran the ball with Marshawn Lynch a ton. And then he was able to develop into the quarterback he became. Andrew Luck, in his first ever career start against the Bears, he threw it 45 times. They threw for 300 yards, but he threw 2 interceptions. So but at the end of the day, the Bears are trying to win games. So I think it's a really tough task for this coaching staff to try to balance developing Caleb, letting him make mistakes, but then also trying to win the game.
Well, one guy who we know is high on the Bears tonight, there's only one other guy, I guess, in my corner, and he plays hockey. And can we still play this year? Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure we had it ready. There's a famous hockey player who plays for the Blackhawks who is high on the Bears tonight too.
But yeah, Caleb only 93 yards. It doesn't.
Who cares?
I know. Is under 150 yards going to cut against CJ Stroud? Probably not. Yeah, I'm definitely on the Texans. I think Mixon is the X factor.
Yeah, Mixon had a huge game.
I didn't expect him to look this good.
Yeah,
he keeps just out before. He's supposed to go downhill, but he never does.
He played great.
But yeah, sure. They just have so many playmakers. I'm going the Texans for sure. I do love the Bears, but I did not love how Caleb played. So yeah, give me the Texans.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the Texans are a great football team. You guys have said lots of talent. Mixon, huge for me. I got like their whole team in fantasy, basically. So I'm definitely rooting for them a lot. But give me the Bears all day, man. Okay, Caleb, obviously, tough game for him, but they got the win. He's the first overall pick to get the win in what, 13, 14 years?
Since
You
2002.
think he
I think it
cares
was.
he had
22
92
years.
yards? No, he doesn't. He's confident going in. He's excited to improve. He's going to get better this game. It's going to be a big week for him, and the Bears are taking it home 2-0.
I have no idea who those two other people are in that video, but
Those are great people.
all that matters is Connor Bedard is picking the Bears tonight, and we love that. All right. We also love going to Game Time to get our last-minute tickets and really any tickets that we might need. I love going to live events. I know you do too. And Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They got the super deal, which is amazing, and they got all kinds of tiers of deals. They're flash deals as well. You just swipe that little button, and they're going to show you the best spot in that moment. You can use app features like customize your spot. And, the other great thing about Game Time is it's not just for sports events. I know people watching the show probably think about, but if you want to go to a comedy show, you want to go to a theater event, concerts, Game Time is your all-in spot with all-in pricing, and you can toggle that feature on. It's going to show you your total up front, so you're not hit with all those fees at the end that we all hate. You see them right up front, what your all-in pricing is. That always helps select exactly where you want. Also helping is your seat views. They're going to show you exactly where your seat is in the app when you're sorting through the tickets, and they have the lowest price guarantee as well. So here's what you want to do. You want to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Whether it's pro
We'll
or
work on it.
college, our friends are at Circa Sportsbook. I just made 2 outstanding bets with Circa before the show tonight, and I'm super excited to cash those bets. And even if I don't, I won't blame Circa. It is the app to bet football or anything. Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois, with the high betting limits, low holds, exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams. Bear down. Spreads, props, futures, in-game. Circa has it going on. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. I can tell you, by the way, when you fund your account at Circa, bam, it's right in there, ready to rock and roll. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. My guy DeAndre Swift. Let's go. Get to that in a little bit here. All right. Ton of NFL news today, Hoge. Where do you want to start here, buddy?
Well, we'll hear from Rome here in a little bit. But first, I think some results that obviously matter. It was kind of fun having the entire NFC North playing at noon besides the Bears. I had all 3 of those games up at one point. And the Packers,
you had like 13 games on at one point.
What?
You had like 13 games on
I
at one
gotta
point.
say that I didn't exactly enjoy it. It was a little overload.
Yeah, it looked like it.
I was trying to take advantage of YouTube TVs. Like you can customize the
4-screen, the quad
which
screen.
by the way, you actually
Can't do
can't customize it as much as you want. It's kind of tricky marketing. They just have more options and it helps you sort through the options, but really you can't. Like I wanted to get whatever. The combo I wanted, I couldn't get. And I was kind of annoyed because
You would think you'd be able to pick the 4 boxes you want.
regardless, there were a lot of games. They had 10 games on at noon. It was a little too much, so I ended up paring it down and really focusing on the NFC North. Obviously, the Packers, man, they took it to the Colts. We talked earlier how much they ran the ball early. The Colts could not stop it. That bodes well for DeAndre Swift, I guess, next week. But Packers kind of controlled that game to start to finish. They didn't look terribly impressive with Malik Willis at quarterback necessarily offensively, but they did enough to pull that one out. So the Packers 1-1. The Vikings, surprisingly, 2-0. This was a weekend of upsets. a day of upsets, and then maybe that bodes well for the Bears tonight. I thought for sure the 49ers going up against Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was a 49er last year. I thought they would have the book on him. And shout out to Sam Darnold, 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson. Now, Justin Jefferson did leave that game early.
Yep.
I didn't necessarily hear.
Hamstring probably.
What's it? What they
It was a hamstring,
Okay.
maybe?
Oh, I think it was a quad.
Quad. Okay.
Yeah, he got hit funny. So I don't know how serious that'll be. But the Vikings are 2-0. The Lions surprisingly lose to the Bucs. They are now 1-1 on the year. Jared Goff didn't quite play as well. And Baker Mayfield, man, good for him.
How about Raiders over the Ravens?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Oh, Luke Getsy.
Raiders being 0-2.
Luke Getsy goes into Baltimore.
Gardner Minshew.
It's a win.
With arms wide open.
Yeah, that's Carm's guy.
Brock Bowers, 9 catches, 98
Yeah.
yards all over the place, 2 games into the
The
season.
tight end. Maybe we could see a little bit of tight end game
Yeah.
tonight with the Bears. Maybe.
And then a couple other ones I want to mention relevant to the Bears. Obviously, Justin Fields, now 2 games in, has played all the quarterback snaps. So tracking that possible 4th-round pick.
7 more games, baby.
Trending in the right direction for the Bears on that. More importantly to him, he's 2-0.
2-0 has looked pretty decent. I mean, his numbers aren't crazy. Efficient, not turning the football over, something he did in Chicago. Who knows?
And obviously our eyes are on the Texans tonight, but looking ahead on the schedule, mentioned the Colts losing to the Packers. They're 0-2. That game's starting to look kind of more, winnable next week. And then beyond that, the Rams got shellacked by the Cardinals, and their injury problems are really adding up right now. Cooper Kupp was in a walking boot leaving the stadium, and they already are. We know Puka Nacua won't be playing in that game in 2 weeks.
Their center's out for the year.
Yeah, they're getting ravaged with injuries. So this is starting to look like a situation for the Bears. If they can pull out a win tonight,
Even if they don't, it sets up with them all the way to London.
going to London, baby.
I'm not trying to be negative in tonight's game, but like win or lose, their next 3 games after this game, you've got the Colts on the road, Rams at home, Panthers at home. Like it is lining up for them. So I hope you're right. We are rooting for you, Hoge. They win this game, they can start 9-0, baby.
Well, in these first 2 weeks, I think what we're seeing is like a lot of the run game. A lot of the run game. That's what we're seeing, especially, and it's something I talked about when we were over there hanging out. Early on in the season, because of the limited preseason, we don't see consistent quarterback play. So now what we're seeing is a concerted effort to get that run game going, to set up everything. And I bet by week 4 or 5, that's when teams start to get in the swing of things. Like, look at Patrick Mahomes last year when they played the Jets. He looked like just a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the limited preseason, you don't have the reps, you don't feel comfortable. So early on, I think we've seen a lot of teams lose.
Yep.
We didn't think nobody thought the Rams would be 0-2. Nobody thought the Ravens would be 0-2.
2-0.
Yeah, at this point with the backup quarterback, a guy Sam Darnold that was seeing ghosts, but he seems to be good this year. So
Don't laugh at my 9-0 because if you're picking them to beat the Texans tonight, then tell me what team they'd lose to before the Packers. So just stop. If you're picking them tonight, then you're picking them all the way to the Packers game.
Why even stop at 9-0? Let's go 17-0. Listen, there's a lot of things though to sort of recap.
You just
everything.
don't like that I'm the mayor of Meatball Island now, and so you're just
Don't
trying
like
to
that
you're just trying to
commandeered
get it
my
back.
island. You and Chubbs are on Meatball Island, and I call dibs on Chubbs. So it's
And
I'm
Connor
not happy.
Bedard. Connor Bedard is
And
on the
Connor
island,
Bedard.
too.
Like the one time I step off the island, Connor freaking Bedard shows up.
Sorry, you're off.
So, but just to recap all that, a lot of things are going the Bears' way. There's no way Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin, I don't care how healthy Russell Wilson gets. Justin's 2-0, 13 for 20, 117 yards. You cannot take that guy out of the lineup. that's our 4th round pick. Carolina looks. Is it possible they look worse than last year?
It is possible.
I mean, so there's your top of the 2nd round pick coming for you. That's sweet. And you got, look, people are pushing back. I put out the tweet like, Detroit easily could have lost week 1. That team could be 0-2. The Packers, they don't win this week if they don't play the Colts. And, okay, I know Jordan Love's not out forever here, but Green Bay doesn't look anywhere close to dominant. I'm not betting on Minnesota long-term with their quarterback play. To me, the North looks wide open.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it might be. But we
Bears
got to
gotta
stay
get
on
this-
schedule here and hear from Rome Odunze.
Oh, we do. Yeah, right.
So Rome Odunze talked on Friday in the locker room about his knee injury. And look, I was standing there. It made me feel better about the whole thing and, his chances of playing tonight and the risks associated. So we'll let you hear from him himself on what's going on with that knee, that MCL tear that he will be playing with tonight.
Yes.
All right.
We won't get you in trouble today.
Okay.
How's the knee? How's the knee feeling? Limited work today?
Yeah, limited work today. Felt good. Just trying to get back to, being myself out there, and that's the only product I want to put out on the field. So today was a little bit of a test of that, and felt good. So we'll see what happens moving forward.
I know that obviously you're going to listen to the doctors, but do you feel like you can play a full football game right now?
I don't know. I think today was my kind of first initial test to really see answer that question, and I think tomorrow will be a good measure of recovery and how my knee feels in that moment. So that'll be the telling sign. But I want to be out there on that field, any way possible. So I'm going to try and make that happen.
What is the conversation like with you? You've never been through this kind of injury before, never been hurt at the NFL level, you've only known these coaches for a couple months. What is your role in making sure that you're honest with them and that they kind of know exactly what you're saying?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, especially with a knee injury, like it's precautionary, because that's the things that take people a long time to heal, and sometimes are season-ending or career-ending in certain fashion. So learning, knowing it was a knee injury, just want to take those precautions, and knowing what I've heard from the doctors, and hearing what they're saying on the structure of it, gave me the confidence to go out there today and practice. So I think going forward it will be a continued conversation, especially like you said, with new coaches, new training staff, and them learning me learning them, and but I think first and foremost on my head is just making sure I'm healthy, making sure I'm good, and when I'm able to do that, I'm ready to go.
What was Sunday night and Monday? That something more can happen.
No, that's definitely not my concern. I think that was like my first initial question. If I was at any risk for that to happen, and talking to the doctors and the opinions that I've gotten, that's not their opinion of it. Of course, there's some soreness and some pain in there with a sprain that it is, but. No, if there was any risk of anything further, then I wouldn't be out there.
What was Sunday night and Monday morning, I guess, like for you? Because, I know you talked after the game. Was it just something that kind of started to come on more and more? Were you that worried?
Definitely was worried. I've never dealt with a knee injury before, so, there's lots of tendons in there that you can mess up, and people have messed up. So, initially, was out there on the field and, had some soreness after the game and things like that. And then soreness continued to build. And then that night, the soreness was pretty bad. The next morning, soreness was pretty bad. So, at that point, it was in my mindset that I may have, done something wrong to it. And, which, lead me to get the MRI and get the doctor's opinion as well as a second opinion as well, just making sure it's all good, especially, because it's a knee injury. But, the soreness has dwindled and continued movement and mobility has continued to grow, and I think those things are important.
How encouraging is that for you after the initial feelings that you had and how it looked coming up the game?
Oh, it's definitely huge, Like I said, I never, dealt with a knee injury before, so I don't know what it feels like when you sprain something or when you tear something, or, I felt a pop, and I know, a pop hamstring is never good. So, I just was listening to them and the training staff, and they, educated me as well as my peers and my people surrounding me. And, as the soreness went away, as I started to, move my leg, bend my leg a little bit, you start to get that confidence, and, I'm continuing to build that. So I can hopefully play Sunday.
Since you haven't played through an injury like this, how do you know how much you can push it?
I think it's just like any injury in the fact that it's a pain level, pain tolerance thing. I think when you've answered the question whether it's structurally sound and whether or not you're at risk of further injuring it, I think that's the number one question you need to answer. And then after that, it's okay, can you be yourself out there? Can you play through that pain? What's the soreness going to be like the next day? Are you going to be able to weather through that? So for me, it's just that pain tolerance at this point and being able to work through what I can work through.
Did you feel like yourself out there today when you were testing it?
I felt pretty solid. Of course I was being a little precautionary, just because, again, knee injury, but I felt good. I really did. So just getting back into the flow of things, catching up to speed with Caleb and the offense, and yeah.
Have you never dealt with a knee injury? How frustrating is it that it happens in your first game?
No, I never have, knock on wood. y'all better knock on wood before y'all get up out of here. No, I've never dealt with it, so it's something that is a little bit of a scare. You know what I mean, especially when it comes to the knee. I've had many friends, many teammates that have dealt with those injuries, and they always suck. So, for me, it was just first and foremost making sure I was all good structural wise, make sure I'm not putting myself at risk for further injury, and after that, I'm doing whatever I can to get back on my field.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So, just small, quick clarification on something I said going into that. I did call it a tear. Technically, a sprain is a tear, but to reduce everybody's panic for this conversation, we'll call it a grade 1 sprain. That's the situation. You hear him. It's a pain tolerance thing. It's not going to get any worse by playing. I'm cool with him playing. Let's continue that conversation in a little bit because I know Woot, you want to talk about that a little bit. But first, we're going to go out to Houston here in a second with Nick, and Greg's going to tell you about our event next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
You better be at.
A week from today, make sure you head out to Joe's on Weed Street. If you become a diehard, you can get a discount on this event at allchgo.com/events. We had an amazing draft party at Joe's on Weed Street, as Hoge said, to start the show. So September 22nd, we will be back there for Bears, Colts. It was a riot scene that night. It was an amazing night, and now we're going to run it back at Joe's on Weed Street. Going to be having some Bears memorabilia giveaways. Woot's going to be there. Briggs and Brown are going to be there. We're all going to be there. Going to watch the game with you. Pre-game show live, post-game show live, and then the Briggs and Briggs and Brown show live. It's going to be a lot of fun. Long day at Joe's that we hope you can come out and hang out with us for. And again, if you become a diehard, you get a discount on that event. Free shirt right out the gate. All exclusive access to all the different content we bring to you exclusively to our diehards only.
Next time, please lead with what everybody wants to know is that Carm will
be there. Carm will be there.
We're trying to sell tickets.
Yeah, Carm will be there, and we're going to chuck rocks at him out front.
All right, I got a special gift for Greggy. You let me know when I can give it to him, Hoge. I'll let you make that decision because I know we got things we got to do.
Yeah,
and I think
right now we got Nick
ready.
out at NRG Stadium, who is covering the game for us tonight in Houston, where apparently they've opened the roof, Nick?
They did, Adam. I mean, it's like 90-something degrees out here. I'm not going to lie, this is not the best outfit choice, but it is hot out here. Sun's starting to set, but it's actually a pretty cool scene because I think it's been about 5 years since they've actually opened up the stadium and had a Sunday night football game. So it is a vibe here in Houston. I can tell you guys, Bears fans are literally everywhere. When I was on my flight from Chicago to Houston, there were a bunch of Bears fans at the hotel. I mean, I think we counted, one fan and I counted like 4 Texans fans on our route here. So Bears fans are coming in and taking over NRG, no doubt.
That's very surprising that they opened up the roof, considering it's that hot. Yeah. That's a storyline.
Is this a Miami Dolphins technique here?
Well, I don't know, Nick. I hope you asked some questions about this post game because I just assumed all week the roof was going to be closed, and that's actually. You could talk about this from a player's perspective. That's a huge deal throughout the week as you're preparing for this game. We're talking about 90s with high humidity. Even if it's nighttime and the sun's not out, that's a big deal.
It was always tough playing in those warm weather places, especially with the humidity's hot. Played in Miami before. It gets real hot. So it's going to be interesting to see if players are cramping up, if they get the extra electrolytes in there, if they have to have the IVs, because I think this is going to surprise a lot of people. So hopefully they do right as far as hydration and getting their bodies ready to play with that humidity.
Well, as the only elite athlete on this show that has actually competed in Houston, I can tell you that there's a huge difference when the sun goes down to when it's not. I don't think it's not going to matter as much. Playing in the daytime, when I was doing my elite tennis things, that was tough. Nighttime, no big deal. Nick, they're going to be fine.
Well, and
humidity's humidity. Back in 2008, we played at Duke night game right after a hurricane came through. I mean, it was hot as heck. Everybody was cramping up. So, Carm, don't sleep on that humidity. All right?
And they did say on Friday that the roof was going to be open.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, so they've had a couple days.
Why didn't you tell me?
I'm sorry. I ignored you for a couple days.
So, yeah, people in the comments are saying the roof got damaged. I totally missed this. I did not know
I didn't know about the roof getting damaged. I just heard the roof was going to be open.
But, Nick, I wanted to ask you a question. So we were talking a little bit about matchups. This game tonight, which side of the ball or what position group do you think is going to be the biggest difference for the Bears to win this game?
I think you go with a bunch of different ways on this move, but I'm going to go with that Bears defensive line against the offensive line from Houston, because I think there are some opportunities that this defensive line can have, which you saw from Indy in week 1. So I really like the matchup between Titus Howard and Montez Sweat. I think those two are going to be primarily lined up opposite of each other. So looking at that matchup specifically, that's one that I really do like. And if you get Taylor to have another game like he did in week 1, I mean, CJ Stroud is somebody who would love to throw the ball, but he's going to extend plays as well. So I think there's just going to be a lot of opportunities for his Bears defensive line to hit home, knowing that he's looking for some of those bigger plays downfield. So I really just think that this game can be won or lost. I think you mentioned like in the trenches. So the Bears defensive line coming out and, if they can get after CJ Stroud and mitigate those pass catchers that they have for Houston, that could be a really big deal in this game.
Have you gotten your eyes on Rome Odunze yet, Nick?
Yeah, just watching him in pregame, he was moving, running a bunch of different variation of routes, outs, posts, hitches, a fade route, and he's out there with the starting offensive line right now, just running routes. And he said in the interview that you guys just played, like pain tolerance is going to be the thing for him, and it looks like that right now he's able to give it a go, and that's just a huge addition for the Bears, because he would have been down Rome and Keenan in this one. Like, I know not a lot of us have the Bears winning this game other than Adam, so it would have been a lot more difficult if you didn't have Rome. But he looks all right from my vantage point. And I can tell you this, you guys, like NRG Stadium, like the press box, like this one's one of the higher ones in the NFL that I've been to. So like even my super camera can't zoom in all the way and get like the best photos from my vantage point.
Yeah.
Sneak down, Nick. Don't sit in the press box. It's boring, and you can do better.
Well, I'm glad they knew about the roof on Friday, because that can affect emphasis on hydration and nutrition leading up to a game like this. And by the way, this is just I know people would love a retractable roof on the Bears' new stadium, but the fact that they haven't had a game with the roof open in 3 years is another reminder of why it's not worth the money.
I agree with you.
So, all right, Nick, anything else we should know from the stadium before this thing gets underway?
Yeah, no, I have to give a shout out real quickly, because I mentioned there's a bunch of Bears fans here. Like, have to give a shout out to all the people I've met just from the flight and then at the hotel and everywhere I've been. So we have Anchor RP Kevin, met him on the flight to Houston. Corey, met him at the restaurant I was at before I came over here. My buddy Adam from my hometown, Waukegan, showed up to the game, so I got to meet up with him. Jonah I also got to meet, and then Gene and Azil. So Bears fans, like I said, they travel – regardless of where the game is at, you're going to find Bears fans. So had to give them a shout out before tonight's Sunday Night Football game.
Well, I have to give a shout out to you guys. I asked you the other day. Mark was making fun of me saying I never got him a birthday present, but I actually did get you guys some presents. So this here, Nick, is going to you, and this one goes to you, Hoge. Here you go. It says punting is winning. I know you're a big Iowa fan. Yeah. Corey,
let's go.
Giving a shout out to my crew here. Okay. Corey, I know you're the golfer. We talk golf all day long. So you get the golf shirt. Carm, get yourself a shirt here. And then our guy, Steven Nicholas, the hardest working man at CHGO Sports. Got him a nice here Mitchell and Ness.
Wow.
Walter Payton threads here.
He didn't go on the eBay one. He got Mitchell and Ness. Woo-hoo!
Greg Braggs is Santa.
Wow.
Apparently.
I feel so special.
Man, the jersey he got Christmas for me came a year late and was bootleg gray.
Yeah.
This is obviously loves Steven more.
MJ golfing for Woot, and then punting is winning. So maybe this is the Tory Taylor game.
Mine says secret agent man.
Love it.
And Gregory, what we've done for you, because we're going to London, I got you a hat when I was there because
you got a big old put that on there, man.
You're the only guy I know.
What does it say?
You're a gift store hat guy. So
I'm a gift store hat guy.
So I thought that would be good.
I may not
for
be
you.
a shoe guy, but I am a hat guy.
Yeah.
So let's see. I haven't even seen what this looks like. I put it on my.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And this looks like something
looks great.
This looks like something my old bricklayer bosses would wear.
You're going to London, buddy.
We're going to London.
Yeah. You were wearing that hat in
Was
London.
that in question until just now?
No, but I just wanted you to, I thought of you in London, and I got you a hat.
How many days have you forgotten to bring that in?
About 38
Because I remember that you asked me like a month and a half ago if you should give that to him on the show, and I was like, maybe wait a little bit.
Yeah, and well, there it is. I remember
that was very
today.
thoughtful of you.
I think it's because we had a remote show that day, and I was like, no, wait till we're in studio.
Yeah.
Well, today was the day.
Yeah.
Nick,
Gifts all around. Good vibes heading into a hopeful upset on the primetime stage.
Shock the world, baby.
Stay cool, Nick. We'll talk to you post game. All right.
See you guys.
There he is, Nicholas Moreano.
Here we go.
So can we get into a little bit about Rome?
Yeah. Yes, I know you want to talk about that. Jump right in.
Yeah. So for me, I'm thinking Rome. They talked about the pain tolerance and how he meant. It's your top 10 pick, week 2. I honestly don't think it was worth it to play him tonight. I think they should have rested him, to be honest, unless he was feeling 100%, which I don't think he is, from judging based how he said.
Yep.
But in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it to risk that, especially when you have options otherwise that you feel good about Tyler Scott. I know obviously Keenan's out too, but it's too early in the season, I think, to put one of your star players at risk, especially him being in his rookie season, because the knee is a finicky thing, right? If he's feeling a little bit of pain there and maybe his planting, his running, his cutting is not the same, he's playing a little hesitant, that's when you can re-aggravate things, and that's why I would sit him out.
So let's talk about who's at fault there, Woot, in your mind, because this, the player wants to play. He wants to be there for his teammates. He's going to get himself as ready to go. He's going to talk to Adam Hoge, who's going to get jumped on a question and then have to recalibrate himself. But he did come back. all that's
Man, I finished the play.
You did. So is this a Matt Eberflus issue?
This is the Poles and Eberflus. I think they should have came together and said he's not 100%. He's our top 10 pick. I don't want to risk that injury this early in the season, because I guarantee if he sat out this week, he would have been good to go next week. Because a week is you can heal tremendously in a week of time.
So I was kind of with you early in the week, hearing that he can't cause any more damage to that knee made me feel much better about playing him. I think you also need to factor in with Keenan Allen out, you're not helping Caleb Williams if you're going into this game without both of them. And they really need Caleb to bounce back, too, for his own development. So I think there's so many factors to this. Now, you brought up a decent point there that I do think, and I hope, was part of the equation, too. Even if he can't make that sprain worse, if he's playing through pain, you can sometimes overcompensate, and then it leads to a different injury somewhere else. That would be my concern at this point. But I'm going to trust him that he's good to go, that he's not going to be running around in too much pain. And
there's no –
because, this is a top 10 pick. You cannot screw this up.
Yeah.
This one's super basic, though.
Yeah.
This is a tough guy, played through a punctured lung, back on the field, the whole thing. But somewhere in there, he's got to be nervous about it, and that will compromise how you go at doing something. Just human nature is going to happen.
That was my only thing. I know they're saying he will not hurt anything else, but mentally, if you're not 100%, it's going to be a little different. And that's my only thing. You have two talented tight ends that you really didn't utilize week 1. Here could be opportunity to really get those two tight end sets, work the run game, work some play action, get Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett some reps. So hopefully everything will be good with Rome tonight and he goes. But if I were Poles and company, I would have probably sat him out tonight.
Yeah, I totally get the sentiment. But at the end of the day, I don't think any of us really knew the extent, other than what Rome shared on Friday, the true extent of the injury. It just felt more precautionary as the week went on and more reporting came out, and then what we heard from Rome himself. I never wanted to get to a point where people were like, oh, he's out. Monday and Tuesday were like, he's out. We don't want to play him. To me, that was the overreactionary part. And that's okay. That's understandably so. He's your top 10 pick. You want to protect your asset. But at the end of the day, he's okay. And that's why he's playing. It's not just a player decision, Carman. This is a Ryan Poles decision. This is a coaching decision. So they wouldn't put him in harm's way if he wasn't ready to play.
Right, but the trainers ultimately are making this call, you would think. But listen.
It's everybody,
listen,
right?
and this is just a different pivot, but this week, for the fourth time in his career, Tua ends up getting concussed, and then the comments come out today. He's in no way thinking about retiring. Okay, which I get it. You might shorten your life, you might impact your life greatly, but he loves playing football. I get it, but you look around in training camp, they're all wearing those things on the helmet because it protects you. Get in the game, nobody wants to wear it. Don't want to look stupid.
All Colts guy wearing it today.
There's a football mentality out there that can be a little crazy, and it's not exactly to Rome, but it's also like, from a Bears standpoint, this is a huge investment you're making here. It's one game, so I don't know. I would have sat him.
Yeah, hopefully everything's good with it. But I think he's a competitor. He wants to be out there, and I respect that because I think nowadays people always err on the caution of sitting out nowadays, just because it's not like the olden days where guys would play when they were really banged up, just because you wanted to be on the field, you wanted to do everything. You didn't want to give somebody else an opportunity to take your spot. But
yeah. I also think sitting here, it's
we're week 2 too.
You got to understand that in this, when you're preparing for these games in the NFL, and there's only 17 of them, every game is huge.
Yeah, every game matters.
And so if you got a guy who's on the fence and he wants to play and he's medically cleared to play, you don't sit him.
Yeah.
You try to win the game that's in front of you, and that's what they're doing tonight.
I totally agree with that. I was just thinking from a standpoint of your top 10 pick and just protecting him for a game that, like, they probably had slated. Like, I know you're never going to think you're losing a game, but, in a game where if he comes back the next week, I would like the odds that he probably would be close to 100%, if not 100% next week.
It'll be interesting his snap count, too, how much they put him out there.
Yeah, if he's more of a decoy, if they use him in that way. So it'll be interesting tonight.
All right, well, we should get to our prop bets and our predictions. It is about that time. We are getting closer and closer to kickoff. So we will start with our prop bets. My prediction's already been given away on this one, but we're still going to go around the horn and give our reasoning for what's going on. My prop bet, though, I will go first. I think nobody is surprised. Will be surprised if Cole Kmet is involved more tonight. That's why I really like Cole Kmet over 2.5 receptions. You're getting plus money on this. It's plus 125. Is what the last I saw right before the show. It may have adjusted a little bit since then. But that seems like a home run to me. Cole Kmet over 2.5 catches at plus 125.
I love that bet. I'm logging in right now to make that play too. I gamble with Circa today because I love our friends at Circa. DeAndre Swift, you're going to be involved tonight. You're going to be involved big. I got him over 13.5 receiving yards. Give me that one catch. Get a little shake, get a little bounce. Let's go. And I got him over 46.5 rushing yards. I pay me. You might as well just give me the money now. Come on. This just feels too easy. Taking candy from a baby. Let's go.
Yeah, that was going to be my prop bet. Is the over 46.5 for Swift, because I think tonight they're going to have to get the running game going if they have any chance at winning this game. So inside the tackles, around the edge, I think Swift and company, they got to get them going.
You could have gotten plus 1,100 early in the week on 90 or on 11 to 1 on 90 plus. It's down to
total yards or rushing?
Rushing.
For the Bears in general or Swift?
No,
for Swift.
Okay.
For Swift.
That seems...
That's heavy.
Heavy.
That's why they said it. 90?
It was 11 to 1.
I agree, but that doesn't have anything to do with how realistic it is.
Right.
It's not like he hasn't rushed for 100 yards in his career.
I'm just glad that Carm did his hair for the show, because his video driving in his car with Poppy, he looked like a complete idiot.
Yeah, he looked like a homeless man that had hijacked.
Somebody said that him and Poppy had the same haircut.
Okay. Wow. I look good. I always look good. I'm
that was an insult to Poppy.
Poppy looked terrified in the back. Shut up, Carm. So my prop bet. I say it with love. My prop bet is Cole Kmet touchdown. I'm going with Hoge. Get him in the offense this week. Get him in the end zone this week. And you get plus 575 off Circa if you take a Cole Kmet anytime touchdown. I'm buying it. And I'm pretty sure it's plus 2,200 if he's the first touchdown scorer.
Ooh. Right.
All right.
You know how to read the gambling.
What was that, Steven? Steven said you can get plus 400 for how many receiving yards? 40 receiving yards. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of his game is kind of he tends to be like all the way in as a factor or just blocking that day. So maybe factor that in if you're going all in on Cole Kmet. All right, our game predictions. They are presented by Ray Auto Group. We love Ray. Ray Scarpelli brings you his prediction each and every week as well. And here's what he's thinking for tonight's game.
Hey everybody, Ray here at Ray Auto Group in Fox Lake, and I'm going to give you my Bears pick this weekend. I had them winning last time, but this weekend, unfortunately, I think we're going to take our first loss against the Texans. I just think they look good. They're looking like a Super Bowl favorite too, but fear not. I think Caleb Williams proves it on primetime on Sunday Night Football that he is the real deal. Look for him to take some big strides forward with a couple of touchdowns.
Oh. Damn right, Ray. Ooh. No, you need to think like a general manager and not like a special teams coach. That's my
What?
Yes. You're too much. You're a special teams coach. Are you
saying the general manager thinks they're going to lose tonight?
I'm saying that the general manager, what he cares about more than anything else is getting his quarterback rocking and rolling. And that's what Ray's talking about. You're over
Hoge
here.
had Caleb as his breakout player of the week candidate.
How do you think I think they're going to win? Caleb needs to play well. By the way, Ray's exact prediction is 28-17 Texans.
Everybody, I gave you great feedback right there. You should just lean into what's true and get back to me in 24 hours.
Well,
you too, Brags.
Here's what's true. The Bears are going to win tonight.
You water boy.
The Bears are going to win tonight. I got them winning 23-20. I don't think this is necessarily a high-scoring game. I do think that they get into the end zone at least once on offense. Probably going to need 2 to win, but don't be surprised if the defense or special teams comes through with another big score. They're going to have to win the takeaway battle, which I admit is not going to be easy. CJ Stroud does not turn the ball over, but I look at those pressure numbers last week. I know I brought this up earlier in the show. The Colts got after CJ Stroud last week. They did, and they sacked him 4 times. They hit him 10 times, and I think the Bears' defense is better. So I expect them to get after CJ Stroud, and eventually that's going to lead to some type of, takeaway at some point in the game, and I think it all adds up to a Bears win.
So getting after him, you talked about Juice Scruggs is out tonight. They're starting center.
That's big.
So Jared Patterson's going to be in there. We got to see how the center quarterback exchange is going to be, how he is there being the quarterback of the offensive line, how he does the checks, the reads. Billings and Dexter really have to feast tonight. I'm expecting hopefully big nights from them if they're going to have a win. And then I look at their wide receiver trio. They have some of the best in the league besides the Bears, right? Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and their tight end as well. So I think there's a lot of weapons there. It's going to come down to how they pressure CJ Stroud.
Woot has the Texans winning by 7, so that would be a cover for the Texans. And Nick has the Texans winning by 6. At the last line I saw was exactly 6, so that would be a push. Braggs, you have the same exact score as Wootton. Copycat, 24-17.
Yep.
Carm, he just hates the Bears. 28-17. Right there with Ray, pretty much.
Yeah, I did not see an offense ready to perform on the big stage yet, which is fine. It's going to take a second to get there, so that's my main reason. And CJ gets rid of that ball quick, man. That ball's coming out, so I think they're going to score points. They always seem to.
Good test for the secondary. Our young bucks, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson.
Yep.
How are they going to perform against this talented trio?
Yep, all true.
Should be a fun game. And going back to what Bragg said at the beginning, I don't know if it really is what matters most, but yes, it would be nice to see the Bears look good, competitive against a good team on primetime in front of the whole NFL tonight. A lot of eyes on them, and a lot of the narratives over the next few weeks, like it or not, get set in primetime, and how the quarterback looks, how Odunze looks, how the defense looks, all these things, they do matter. It does matter in primetime, so we're going to find that out tonight. Couple super chats on the way out. Fran Chile, $20. Let's go Bears. If the Vikings can beat the Niners, we can beat the Texans. Any other supers we need to get to, Steven?
Yeah, we got a $100 super chat from Carrie Huss.
Huss.
We really appreciate you,
Huss.
Do you want to sing the song? Go ahead.
Didn't think you'd super chat 100. Huss.
Bears are so winning tonight. Let's go. Bears.
Huss. There you go.
We appreciate you, Carrie.
Thanks, Carrie.
And my guy Chubbs yelling at me, $5 super chat. If you pick the Bears to lose tonight, you can't watch the game. Get out. Get off Meatball Island. Clown.
Right.
Thank you, Chubbs.
He's an angry
It's my good
Chubbs.
friend Chubbs. That was very nice of you to say.
All right, Chubbs, I'm going to hold down the fort tonight.
Settle down, Chubbs. The store, Kevin, naked guy, across the road. Check my balcony.
Oh, it's dark. I can't see through the dark.
Steven is running now. Not only does he produce like an amazing whole Komet jersey hanging outside the balcony across our beautiful studios here.
That means he's got
naked guy.
If he's got a jersey on, he's not naked.
Well, he's hanging a jersey.
Oh, it's hanging. That's smart. Okay.
I sprinkle a drop on the coal. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go 85.
That was weird.
All right, we appreciate it. Let's get to it.
Michael 199. Oh God, no Phalis Jones. Marty, $10. Someone called in 670 earlier and said he was up late last night drinking cockies. Did Carm coin the new term, taking the world by storm? Just got 2 tailgate tickets for Panthers coming from Golden, Colorado.
Mark,
go.
Yeah. You can enjoy one with Carm or 2.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate.
Oh,
Get involved.
Chris Parrott, $2. Bears 73, Texans -3. That's how it's done, Braggs.
Bear down. Appreciate you, Chris.
Cornell Bryan, 199. Early hot take. We should have hired Clint Kubiak. All right.
We'll see how the season unfolds.
Let's not
Then we'll
go
make
down
that
that road
decision.
yet.
Let's go.
See you right when
Primetime
it's
Bears,
over.
baby.
See you when it's over.
Be right
Let's
here.
go
the second
Hoge.
the game ends.
Let's go
You
Hoge.
want to be here.
Let's go
CHGO
Hoge.
Bears.
Let's go home.
Think like a GM.
Let's go home.
All city like the mayor.